Yeah, this is real cheesy. Um,
You see that like it's a bad thing. Like that's a feature and not a bug.
Look, it's built in. I get it.
With this newfangled version of The Running Man coming out this week from director Edgar Wright, starring Glenn Powell, we wanted to go back and watch the original Running Man, which somehow, Alonso, you and I had never seen. I don't know how we, as children of the 80s, missed this most 80s movie ever in all the history of 80s movies. But somehow we did. So we're going to talk about it. Come hang out, subscribe, because if you like these kinds of throwback reviews, we do these all the time. We get a lot of requests for, can you go back and watch such and such? And we love doing that too. So we watched The Running Man for you. Alonso, what happens here?
Sensational. Perfect contestant. I want him. He must pay or play the running man. On your mark. I'll be back.
Directed by Starsky himself, Paul Michael Glaser. Yeah, this is based on the Richard Bachman book. It is a, dystopian future where an autocratic government has taken over, and they sort of bred and circus the populace with this violent game show called The Running Man, where people are, it's a very most dangerous game. They head out in the world and then they are hunted down on live television, and it's brutal and terrible. But it's hosted by a smiling Richard Dawson, because 4 decades ago we didn't realize that that guy was going to be elected president one day. But anyway. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a guy who is like, a member of the police force of this brutal government, but even he won't open fire on civilians, and that gets him into trouble and thrown into a gulag. And when he and a couple of his pals, played by Yahpet Kotto and Marvin J. McIntyre, escape, they are captured because Richard Dawson's character realizes that Schwarzenegger is not one of these scrawny anarchist types, that he's actually going to give a good show here. And so he winds up having to be the running man, and so do his comrades. Throw in Maria Conchita Alonso as a TV composer who comes to realize that maybe Schwarzenegger is telling the truth about being framed for the massacre of the civilians. And you get a lot of people running around in yellow spandex trying to avoid other pro wrestlers in the 1986 version of the future. This is real cheesy.
You see that like it's a bad thing. Like that's a feature and not a bug.
Look, it's built in. I get it. And there's a lot of fun 80s character actors here, from Kurt Fuller to Miss Yvonne herself, Lynn Marie Stewart, as one of the audience members in the game show. This is one of those movies that really doesn't want to make a political stand, even though it is an inherently political story. It's about media manipulation, and it's about how governments can use the media to sway popular demand and distract people from terrible things that are actually happening, which of course has nothing to do with the world that we live in right now. But this movie's version of media manipulation is so cartoonish that like the guy in the back row can't miss it. Whereas the real thing obviously is much more subtle. And also the spoiler for a 40-year-old movie. The big ending here is Arnold Schwarzenegger killing Richard Dawson on live television, everybody being like, yay, which is no different from everybody watching Arnold Schwarzenegger getting chased by people and being yay. So the movie doesn't really make a stand for anything except like, if we're going to kill people on live television, they should be the bad guys.
He is the bad guy, because we just saw how he manipulated all that footage. I'm not saying he's
news. I'm not saying he's not the bad guy. He absolutely is. But
he is.
But the bloodlust of the crowd and watching him die is not that different from the bloodlust of the crowd that he himself was manipulating hours earlier. So the movie never basically to meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Right. But the thing is that when Richard Dawson does die in a blaze of glory, it sets up one of the many cheesy, trademark Arnold Schwarzenegger puns. That hit the spot. not. I mean, he's McBain in this.
He does so many of those in this movie. Batman and Robin gets a hard time from people, and deservedly so in many respects, don't get me wrong. But people shit on all of the stupid ice puns that Schwarzenegger does in that movie. He does that throughout this film. Every time somebody dies, he's got some dumb pun about it. And it's just like, oh, so this was just what you did all the time. But somehow we just decided Batman and Robin was the one time that it was a bridge too far.
Yeah, no, this was his bread and butter, for in many, many films, in the beginning when there's like the prison fight, whatever it is, and the slums of the Wilshire district, he grabs this one guard and is like, give you a lift, and throws him over a wall. I mean, it is very, very cheesy.
They even recycle I'll be back in this.
That's very knowing. A few years after The Terminator, I had a really good time watching this, and it's at 60% on the tomato meter. It's always entertaining to see what dystopian fiction of the past thought was going to be our future. So like this takes place in 2017 and the economy has collapsed, and it's like, joke's on you, Stephen King. We're still here. So close.
The economy wasn't great in 2017, but I mean,
But it wasn't this bad. Yeah, no. It's so 80s. I mean, so much glass block and like metal railings. Did you recognize where the building is, where the TV studio is?
No, where?
It's a Sony building. It's like Madison between Washington and Culver. It's across from the Sony lot, and it's a big building with a huge atrium.
Oh, right. Yes, I've parked in that building before. Okay, yes,
you park in that building, you walk across the street to the lot. Yes, that is that building. It's hilarious. This movie is so funny. It's like pretty much nonstop action. It's only an hour and 40 minutes long. I know you saw this new version of The Running Man last night. Yes. I'm not seeing it till Thursday, but it's a half an hour longer. And I'm wondering, does it feel like it? Does it sustain that? Because this is like a nice tight hour 40.
We'll get into it. I don't want
to.
I don't want to prejudice you. We'll get into it.
I can't wait. Many funny things exist here, including the Schwarzenegger character saying, "I'm not into politics. I'm into survival." When he became the governor of California in 2003.
Yep.
You have speaking of, you have Jesse Ventura along those lines too. You have these two soon-to-be governors fighting each other. Yeah, I mean, from the very titles, this is so of its time in that it is so like what the 80s thought the future would look like. Like the title sequence is like, the graphics in retrospect are just hilarious, and just what the apartments look like. And you get Mick Fleetwood and Dweezil Zappa
leading the revolution, as we knew they would.
But a lot of things here crack me up. Like, yes, it is extremely over the top in its satire, but the fact that one of the other TV shows that this channel airs is called The Hate Boat. There's a poster for The Hate Boat. And just the casting of Richard Dawson is pretty great, because Family Feud had just gone off the air, or rather, he had been on until like 84, I want to say.
Okay.
Family Feud will exist for all of eternity, but he hosted it for decades, and it plays so much on his likable, smooth kind of schmooziness, and like the charisma that he has with the audience. When he's talking to somebody, he's got the mic in one hand and his hand on the shoulder of whoever he's talking to. It's like they're doing that, the thing at the end of Family Feud, that whatever the showdown thing was at the end.
Right. 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah. It feels like that.
There is something, like he was a very good talk show or game show host, but at the same time, there was always something just a little sort of oily and insincere about him, and he really leans into those qualities here in a way that this is one of the best sort of like maybe not even self-referential, self-critical performances I think I've ever seen. And obviously he, in that way that you have to be a really good singer to play a bad singer, I think he had to be really aware of how he comes across on camera to give you this guy who, like, on the one hand has this image of like, it's everybody's, he loves the little old ladies in the audience and stuff, but is like a total rat bastard in real life. And he's playing it brilliantly. It's like, I don't know that he'd acted since like Hogan's Heroes,
Right.
but this was like the perfect role for him.
Right. We'll talk about Jay Kelly one of these days, playing George Clooney playing himself. This is Richard Dawson playing himself. We didn't know it was skeevy that he kissed all the female contestants on the lips on Family Feud. We had no idea.
Just thought that's what you did, you know.
Little things here and there crack me up, like the fact that Maria Conchita Alonso is this TV jingle writer, and she wrote the official theme song for this channel. We bring you joy, we bring you despair. That's the name of the song. So many people behind the scenes here are so 80s. So like we have these dancers on the show. Paula Abdul is the choreographer for the dancers.
Of course she is.
Harold Faltermeyer did the score. Thomas Del Ruth is the cinematographer who, among his many credits, he also shot The Breakfast Club.
Well, Jackie Birch, casting director, also casted Breakfast Club and Die Hard, which Stephen E. D'Souza wrote. So
there you go. It all comes back around.
It all
we
ties together.
We also have Jim Brown here. I thought this was a blast. Oh, and John Parr, the John Parr theme song over the closing credits. Like everything is just like check, like a checklist of all the 80s action cliches. So yeah, this is, it gets increasingly silly, but I do think it's political and I do think it has a point, but it wants to have its cake and eat it too. And talking about, the media manipulation, but this is doing that as well. So
yeah, no, it's not political. It's just like really obvious with how it's doing it. And I think the problem with doing a media satire like this, where everything is so obviously exaggerated, is that people think, oh, well, I can spot that. And the thing is, no, often you can't, or you have to really be paying attention to the media that you consume to sort of see how it's agenda driven and what the end point of it is. And, so I think, spoiler, one thing I do like about the new Running Man is that they're a lot more subtle about how things get, so how consent is manufactured, as Noam Chomsky would say. But this one, I think people think, oh, well, I would see that coming a mile away. And it's like, no, the point is you don't. The point is you're watching Fox News every day and you think it's news, Yeah.
No, this is, it's very silly and very over the top, but I had a lot of fun. And I think that the distance has a lot to do with that. I think if I'd seen it when it came out, I would think it was just dumb.
Yeah.
But I could appreciate as a little time capsule
for sure
what it represents. So should we give the original Running Man a number? Do you want to do numbers?
Sure, like a 6.5. It's a fun watch. It's goofy, very, very of its moment, but also, still shockingly relevant in some ways.
Yeah, we have a couple of different Stephen King, Richard Bachman adaptations this year, right? Between The Running Man and The Long Walk. So I look forward to seeing the remake. I will say, like a 6.8. I had fun. So keep an eye out for our review of the new version of The Running Man on Friday. But if you've seen this one, let us know what you think.